I'm Senthil Kumar. I'm from a company called Geomeo Informatics. From the morning, you might be hear a lot of technical things related to Wi-Fi and all those technology, how this protocol works, everything. But this talk, completely different. This is all about like how this technology really touches the life of the people in the last mile. I have started like my company like when we interacting with a lot of girls in a rural area, we come to know that a problem statement that in a rural India there are a lot of maternal death is happening. So we started interviewing a lot of pregnant women. Why this maternal death is happening? Like no one in the world like solve this problem. Then we understood that for a 5,000 years birth is happening everywhere, but still out of sustainable development goal, 15 goals, the only one goal missed is maternal death. And in the world, India is leading for the maternal death. So we thought, can we solve this problem? Why it's not solved, can we solve the problem? We went to a lot of rural villages and start interviewing a lot of pregnant women. We come to know that this pregnant women never ever go for a hospital for antenatal checkup. The reason behind this is the hospital is too far from their home, and every time they need to go to the hospital, they need their husband or some family member help to take them to the hospital. So here, as usual in India, women sacrifice for everything. So see, every time sacrifice. See, if it's a painful, see, never go to the hospital. So this is a reason for most of the maternal death. So we thought, okay, how other WHOs are solving this problem? No one has done anything for this. So we understood that WHO is spending huge money to NGOs to solve this problem. These NGOs spending a lot of health worker, they are deploying a lot of health worker in every village. The role of the health worker is going to the pregnant woman home and say, you have to do antenatal checkup, come to the hospital. But the thing is, the health workers are very smart. They never ever go to the health worker home. Rather, what they will do is, they will fake every data in the primary healthcare center itself. They say that this woman came, everything is good, all the vitals are good. So for NGOs, they are getting a nice reports. Everyone in the family is happy, all the pregnants are happy, but still the death is happening. So here what like we started solving the problem. Okay, how we can use all this Wi-Fi technology, all this technology to solve this problem. So instead of every time the pregnant woman go and call them, okay, can we bring the hospital to them? So that's what we build an IoT based device. So the device do all the vital checkup in their home. The next problem is we have an IoT device which measures the blood pressure, blood glucose, all the vital which is done in the hospital. The next problem is still the health workers are so smart. So what they'll do is, so we solved that manual entry, created this problem. So convert into the digital entry. But these people, what they'll do is, they'll do the checkup on their body or their colleague and make the entry. Okay, so they make all the entries, still they don't want to go to their house. So now we really want to solve this problem in a different way. So we thought, okay, we will build a wearable device for a pregnant woman which will give a continuous monitoring for the woman. So continuously it can monitor the health, and every time the health worker carry this bag, this IoT kit, so when they come to them, near to them, the connection is established with the wearable device and the hardware, and all the entry of the vitals directly recorded into the particular profile of the woman. So now we can track them that they are going to the house. Okay, so we have done this part. Now the next toughest part, like we did a initial model and deployed all the wearable device to every pregnant woman. And our backend system, so we are seeing all weird values are coming, which never comes from a pregnant woman. Okay, so we again went to the village. It's a tribal village near Wayanadu. It's called Vellaram Kunnu. Again went to the village and started interviewing a woman. And I couldn't see the wearable device she's wearing. And I asked her where it is. Okay, and she told that my husband told me that, oh, you are wearing a watch. Give the watch to me. So whatever data we are getting is husband data. Okay, that's why it's not satisfying any condition. Okay, now we want to make her to wear this device for a 10 months so that things are happening. So we saw that the woman wear a lot of Rudraksh kind of a device in the neck or something. So we told them that, do you wear this always? And she told, yeah, I wear this always. Okay. So I go back and design the chip such a way that it's a size of nail and put it inside the Rudraksh. Okay, so the product exactly looked like this. This is the product. Okay, so I built a chip inside and put it on this Rudraksh, okay, and gave it to her. Okay, and the next problem is how you recharge it. Okay, so I can make optimization up to 1 month battery life. So next step what I did, I take a button cell from a battery, this watches, I put it on every beads, inside this beads, and connected using a conductive thread. So I gave it to her, entire 10 months he doesn't need to recharge, and it's waterproof everything. So I made her to wear this and then do all the checkup, now everything's fine. The next problem is how the data which a health worker is taking from in the phone or tablet has to come to my cloud. There is no connectivity. So every time she should be motivated, do the reading and then come to the hospital, connect it to the internet zone, then only the data will come. If she is lazy, I never get the data. This is what I use Wi-Fi technology and all those things. So I started deploying a lot of mesh nodes in the village. Mesh nodes, like, there are a couple of mesh nodes. So what I do is, like, from that particular village, I put 5, 6 mesh nodes, all create a mesh node, and then there is a one point-to-point link which send the data to the nearest city or any other main place where the backhaul connection is there. So there is a 5 GHz point-to-point, and other is a mesh. So I build this network, and then getting the data from this network. Here, after building this kind of a network, I really understand that understanding Wi-Fi is very tough, because Wi-Fi never works when you want to make it work. Okay, all this protocol never work in this one. This is a tribal village, lot of mountains, everything. The signals are not at all going. Okay, so I come up with a different protocol on that to solve it. Like, so now the second part is like, okay, you set up a nodes. Okay, here is a tough. Who will give the charge for the node? Okay, who will maintain the nodes? Okay, so because other countries, they have something called community networks. So the community networks, they will deploy this nodes in all the villages, and a lot of people, volunteer people, who will give the electricity for the node, who will maintain the node, everything they'll do. Now, I can't go to the village every time to make sure that this Wi-Fi node is working or not. So what I did, I started mentoring the girls in that particular village. I taught them, okay, small technology. So what I did is I made these girls to apply for some global competition, because I want their parents to support the girls to learn. So why I choose a girl is, most of the time guys learn technology, run away from the village. Okay, get to the tier 1 or some city for a job. For the girls, they always stay there. So I chosen the girls to teach the technology. So I told them how to build a Wi-Fi router, how to flash the router. So I teach them how to use OpenWRT to flash the router. So this is what I did, and then I made them to apply for some competition, because the object of the competition is, I want the girls to win for such a global competition, so the parents will get a confidence. Oh, my daughter is going to US for this competition. So I made a couple of team win for some of the NASA or some global competition, and made them win for the competition. So when they go to US for winning, and then entire village are motivated. Okay, now I support my girl to do the thing. So here the complicated problem is, like, you have to set up a node and someone has to maintain. Okay, this is where we started doing a brainstorming and come up with this self-deployable community networks. So you should understand the real problem in villages. Lack of power. You have amazing technology, but without power it doesn't work. Okay, so first is the lack of power. Second is like a lot of man-made interference. Then cost of site acquisition, where you put this node and you have to pay for them, and you are doing some community service, you can't pay for deploying the node, site acquisition. And then third is like low bandwidth. Internet never works there. Okay, most of the time it's always in offline. Then there is complexity of wider coverage, how you coverage the entire village and subsequent village. And it's economic affordability, how they buy the community networks themselves and set up it and then maintain. So these are the problem in every village to set up a community networks. So how we solved it, I want to tell. I started interacting with the girl. I decided that instead of me solving the problem, I want to tell the problem statement to those girls. So they are the like 8th standard, 9th standard school girls. So I want them to solve the problem for their problem. So we discussed, I told like, hey, these are the problem in your place. So first solution, to make a wider coverage, we come up with a mesh network. Can we build a mesh network so that it cover on a longest range? Then I told that where to get a power. Then these girls come up with the idea like, can we use up solar? Okay, solar, we can use a solar, then we can power the entire system. So makes sense. So we started using a solar. Okay. than offline. Now the thing is, most of the time they don't have a backhaul internet. Backhaul internet is always like going down. So here is what we come up with an idea that all the content can we put it on this device itself. It's kind of a distributed model where the content is stored there in the device itself. Whenever they do anything, the data is collected and stored in the nodes itself, and then whenever the connectivity is done, it will push the data. The same way, these girls made education platform there. What they'll do, all the content, educational content, they'll put it on the router itself. This all the girls are doing, I'm not doing it. So they are understanding OpenWRT, and they are like taking all these old TP-Link routers and trying to build this one. They attach to the USB storage to store the content. This is how they solve the problem. Then now the important part is like how you deploy it. Who will go to the antennas and set up the network? Okay, this is how I was really surprised from the team. They come up with this idea. So you told me that there is a Uber flying car. There are drones. There are something is flying. Why can't we build flying routers? So the router can fly and automatically set up in the villages community networks. So I can't acquire the site, one person home for entire month, but one day is possible. So the nodes can fly, every day it can go and sit on different places, like a birds. So the Wi-Fi nodes can fly on different places and set up a community network, and the nodes, we can add intelligence to the node, it manages the coverage. It manages the complete coverage of the setup. So entire village, it can provide the setup. And another interesting thing is like, if I'm able to build this kind of a routers, which is a flying routers, in future, if I want to deploy community networks to any village, from my home I can send all those things like this. It can fly from here and deploy into the villages. So this is the idea. Currently we are working on that, something like flying routers to set up a community networks in this region. So it automatically gives the enhanced auto mobility. That means the nodes can sit on everywhere, different places, like a birds, how the birds are doing. The girls has seeing that birds, how the birds are doing things, and they just applied the concept here. And this is a product currently we are using. So the current product is look like as a router. It can be attached to any drones. Okay, so once you attach, the drones can go there. It can do the field mapping, and where is the right place to create the mesh nodes, you can go and set up there. And this is like powered by solar, so it automatically get the charge. And they have a battery. They added this 10,000 milliamp some battery in the backhaul, in the backside. So it can powered by solar and recharge and provide some 15 to 20 days thing. And now we come up with another algorithm. If there is a battery is low, how we can notify that. So the entire system is more on self-sustained. Okay, and then we try to build such a way that like a BharatNet, when BharatNet comes, I can guarantee that all the villages will be like deployed with this system. And only we need to solve the backhaul problem, and then backhaul is done. Okay, instead of a point-to-point link, I can just put a fiber there. And then entire village is deployed with this system. So this is an interesting, kind of an interesting project we are working on the particular villages, especially in Madurai we are working, and same way like a police department, we are more closely working on that, them also to solve this. Now we want to go to the government first. So we understood that the police department is the right place where they have good connections. So using them, we are building some solution for them. So one of the solution is like how we can, that like any girl in an emergency, okay, clicking a SOS button, this data has to send to the nearest patrol vehicle where they can come and help them. Okay, this kind of solution we are building for police department, and we are validating these routers in different scenarios. Here, the whole idea is like how Wi-Fi technology is really weird, because you have to create a link. Why it should be self-deployable? The context is, let us assume like you make a node, fixed node, point-to-point, fixed node. The problem is if there is lot of interference happens in this kind of villages and tribal area, you never predict. If there is any tree fall in between the line, point of sight, it never works. Okay, that is the time the node has to take a decision. Hey, fine, I am not able to communicate with another guy, so now I have to change my position. So this is the intelligence we try to add into every node. So now the node will act as like its own capable. It can detect the interference and it can move the position accordingly. So the entire village connectivity autonomously taken care of by these nodes. So this is in development, this project. I think people like you can also contribute your Wi-Fi knowledge. We want to make it like an open project to reach out all these people. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Anyone has any questions? Looks like post-lunch we may have no questions.
Yeah, I think, yeah. Yeah. Okay, that is an interesting thing I want to tell. So what I am doing for this, I want to mentor, train these people. As an individual, I can't go to all the village to mentor, first of all. So what I did to solve this problem, all this tier 1 city college student, okay, they have to do their final year project. And most of the time, they go to the nearest project center, pay the money, get the project. Okay. If you go and ask, they'll say, I really don't have a problem statement. So which problem I will solve? So what I did is I connected these kids. So I ran a program called Code Trek. In that program, today, these kids from a tier 1 city from Bangalore, Chennai, Madurai, these people will be getting into the village. The first day, what they'll do is they'll mentor them in the digital awareness. They'll teach people how to use internet banking, how to use WhatsApp. All this technological awareness they will give. So they're creating a relationship with that farmer or people in the village. The second day, the people in the village start sharing their problem statement. Hey, here, this is a problem statement, that is a problem statement. Now, these kids are getting the problem statement. So they paid for that services to identify the problem statement. Okay, that money, whatever I'm getting from them, I'm using to buy all these routers and make it more self-sustainable. Okay, so now they got a problem statement, right? I'm running another program called Out of Box, where I take these kids to Bangalore in NASCOM lab. So every day I'll take them to different companies like Google or some different companies where I put a lot of mentors to solve their problem. Okay, so for them, they are getting a good mentor network. So they identify the real world problem, not imagining, it's a real world problem. Using all this mentor network, they're able to solve this problem. So whatever solution they're building, it is deployed again back to the village. So their final year project is done. 10,000 what they want to spend, they're sending on real people, and the community network is also done. Thank you so much.
Hello. So what kind of mesh technologies are you using in the villages?
Okay, so so the question is like what kind of mesh technology is used inside? It is a standard 11s, okay, and I use more on OpenWRT based mesh technology. I was well connected with the Berlin open source community team, that's called Battle Mesh team. So they build all the mesh routers. So I use something called Libra Mesh. So this is a mesh technology I used in all the router. It's called Libra Mesh. It's very powerful open source solution. And like it is like anyone can install the OpenWRT and just OPKG install Libra Mesh, done. So it will be, and the nodes are very intelligent. You don't need any manual configuration. Just to put a 2 router, it automatically creates a mesh. Not even a single configuration is required. So that is what like the solution is.
Thanks, Senthil.
Yeah, thank you so much.